TomoNews presents Too Stupid to Drive.
Bride-to-be killed on the way to her bachelorette party moments after taking selfie. 26-year-old bride-to-be Colette Moreno was killed in a car crash on Missouri Highway 5 last Friday, while on the way to her bachelorette party at the Lake of Ozarks. Moreno and her best friend Ashley Theobald were both in high spirits and took a selfie only moments before the crash. The two got stuck behind a truck, and the fumes from the vehicle were bothering Moreno, who suffers from asthma. The two decided to go around the truck, thinking the road was clear. However, as they tried to pass, a 1999 Dodge Ram was driving down the hill and both vehicles swerved, but the Ram struck the passenger side of the car. Theobald and the driver of the Ram escaped with minor injuries, but Moreno died at the hospital. Moreno was set to marry her fiancé on July 26th. Theobald now faces charges for careless and imprudent driving, but no criminal charges.
Child falls from moving van, but grandpa keeps driving. Why is this little boy running scared up the road in the middle of traffic? On February 27th, the boy and his grandfather were driving through the city of Suzhou in China's Jiangsu province. The boy, possibly bored, somehow got the idea of climbing over the back seat of Grandpa's van before maneuvering his way up and over the back seat, landing himself in the trunk. Unfortunately, the trunk door had been damaged in a previous collision and would occasionally fly open from time to time. This time, when it did, out the child fell, tumbling down the road. Miraculously, he didn't appear injured, only confused as to why his grandpa didn't stop the car to rescue him. That's because Grandpa apparently had no clue that the little guy had fallen out. He just kept on driving until others who saw what had happened managed to flag him down. The boy, who looks to be about 2, was picked up and taken to safety by a good Samaritan surnamed Zhang. Zhang then handed the frightened kid over to his grandpa, who also appeared to be a little unnerved. Fortunately, there are good people in the world willing to rescue children when they, fall out of the back of moving cars. Maybe think about getting that trunk door fixed, huh, Gramps?
Paying tolls can be annoying, but risking your life just to avoid paying 50 cents is just plain stupid. A Chinese man drove straight onto the frozen Yellow River in Ordos, Inner Mongolia, just so he could get out of paying the bridge toll. Sure, tolls suck, but what are you gonna do? Well, you could do what this Chinese guy did and avoid it altogether. Rather than fork over the 50 cents, he decided it would be better to drive straight out onto the frozen river. This genius was pretty cautious at first, but as his confidence grew, so did his speed. Onlookers did what onlookers do. They took out their phones to film it. It took Confucius on Ice about 10 minutes to cross the 1-kilometer wide body of frozen, clear, unpolluted water. Wonder what the guy did to celebrate. Remember, the next time you're in China, bridge tolls are optional. But if you're visiting during the summer, make sure your car can do this.
92-year-old man crashes into 9 cars, like a boss. You are about to witness one of the best arguments against elderly people retaining their license until they're either blind or dead. Watch 92-year-old Russell Kerr as he backs out of his parking stall in the blue-gray minivan. Okay, so far so good. Now get ready to count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, we've got some speed going now. 7, and that might have been 8. 9 cars in total were damaged by the insure-fueled driver who was finally stopped at the site of a subsequent crash. Police believe Kerr panicked as he drove through the Piggly Wiggly parking lot in Mayville, Wisconsin. They deemed it to be an accident and chose not to cite the man. The Wisconsin Department of Motor Vehicles may review Kerr's license, but for now, he's legal to drive. We all know that old people have trouble controlling their gas, but this dude just took that problem to the next level.
American tourist angers locals with their driving in Thailand. A 29-year-old American tourist was arrested by police in Thailand after she drove the wrong way down a busy road and crashed into 13 vehicles, injuring 2 people on Sunday. The woman drove the wrong way down Soi Siam Country Club in East Pattaya and clipped a motorbike and a bus, before turning the corner, again the wrong way, onto Sukhumvit Road. An angry mob of onlookers followed. The woman hit a total of 13 vehicles before being forced to a halt after police shot out 3 of her tires. Police smashed the driver's side window when the woman refused to open the door. Angry onlookers encircled the woman's car, hurled abuse, and tried to attack the woman. The distraught American was given a heavy fine for the damage she caused. She said she kept her foot on the pedal because she panicked.
SUV caught on camera hitting other vehicles. An SUV was caught on camera hitting other vehicles on a Texas highway before rolling off into an embankment. On July 11th, the SUV was driving behind Brian DeRetta, who had a dashcam running. DeRetta was driving about 70 miles per hour westbound on the I-20 in Grand Prairie, Texas, when he noticed an SUV tailing him. Then, out of nowhere, the SUV slammed into the back of DeRetta's vehicle. Afterwards, the SUV could be seen on video footage from DeRetta's dashcam slamming into other vehicles on the highway. The SUV sideswiped one vehicle, then proceeded to speed towards a truck, rear-ending and spinning it out of control. The SUV's driver then lost control and ended up rolling down an embankment. At first glance, it seems as if the SUV's driver had an extreme case of road rage. But commenters on DeRetta's video, which was uploaded to YouTube, believe there's more to the story. One wrote, "That's not aggressive driving. He is not swerving. My guess is he was having medical issues and lost consciousness or functional capacity." Another wrote, "This seems like either falling asleep or some health-related issue." Someone else wrote, "It doesn't look like road rage at all. It looks like he or she passed out at the wheel." And another asked, "Health issue or brake failure? What do you think?"
Showoff driver crashes GT500 muscle car into brand new truck. Ever wondered what a 662 horsepower muscle car looks like in the wrong hands? Well, now you know. This viral video shows the aftermath of the moment an unnamed driver lost control of a Shelby Mustang GT500 while attempting to show off their driving abilities after a car show. But rather than impressing a crowd of car enthusiasts with their flashy skills behind the wheel, the driver ended up in hospital after the powerful vehicle spun and smashed into a brand new Dodge Ram pickup truck. The car then slid further through a grassy area before smashing into another Mustang. Truck drivers play full contact game of chicken. Get a load of these Einsteins. A video clip uploaded on March 15th shows a pair of Indonesian truckers letting their emotions get the best of them when both refuse to give way on a narrow street in central Java. From local media reports that covered the snafu, it appears that each man wanted passage through the single lane, but neither would back up. As things became more and more heated, local residents stepped in to try to de-escalate the situation. They failed dismally. Impervious to reason, Mr. Black Truck decides to go full retard and use force. He rams Mr. Blue Truck repeatedly, eventually forcing his opponent off the road and onto the edge of a rice paddy. Police caught up with the driver shortly afterward and laid down the law. Note to all trucking companies out there, don't hire these men.
BMW driver is the biggest jerk on the road because he drives a BMW. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day according to most doctors, but there's no reason to be a jerk about it. There's a popular breakfast shop on the corner here, and many drivers think they can just park their car illegally while they pop in for a bite or to pick up something tasty. The driver of this BMW blocked the road, and then instead of backing up to allow the other driver through, he forces the driver of the dashcam video to back up several feet down a narrow alley. Then he pitches a fit when the dashcam driver stops. Why did the dashcam driver stop, you may wonder? Well, because there was another car behind him, boxing him in. Did the driver of the BMW care? Of course not. He just wanted to get home and eat his breakfast while it was still hot.
Grandma killed when careless driver ejects her from car. In Taiwan, a family is suing a local hospital after a careless driver killed their elderly mother. Mrs. Wu, age 72, was wheelchair-bound and during the day would be picked up by a hospital driver for her doctor appointments. However, the new driver, Mr. Lan, age 53, failed to properly attach the wheelchair restraints to hold Mrs. Wu to the wheelchair. He also failed to properly attach the straps that would prevent the wheelchair from moving inside the van. Mr. Lan's final failure was to forget to lock the back doors of the van. Mr. Lan then drove the van to the hospital but took a corner at high speed, which caused the back doors to pop open and Mrs. Wu was flung from the vehicle. Mr. Lan then continued to speed onward towards the hospital. Mrs. Wu died from internal injuries sustained when she was flung from the van. Witnesses called the police and emergency crews, but Mrs. Wu was proclaimed dead upon arrival. Mr. Lan must have gotten the shock of his life when he arrived at the hospital to find out his patient had already bailed, so the lawsuit against him shouldn't be that much of a surprise.